All right, the clock is saying it's 4 o'clock, so we will call the September 27th Architecture Review Board to order. First of all, would like to welcome Dave Aldag to the committee. Steve, if you could please run us through the roll call.
Let's see here. Joe Clark.
Present.
Alderperson Savaglio. I think he was not feeling good and wasn't going to be here if we had a quorum. Jerry Jones also called and indicated he would not be in attendance today. Pam Langen. Robert Heimroll.
Here.
Dick Lindy.
Here.
And Dave Alday.
Here.
We got 4.
So we have a quorum and can continue. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And item 1.3 is to identify potential conflicts of interest. So Dave, just if there's anything you're involved in that we need to know that you're involved in with any of these projects, just let us know now. And typically you can still be involved in the discussion, even if you are involved somehow, you'd just abstain from the vote when we get to that point. So any conflicts of interest for 2 items today? Seeing none, we will move to item 2.1, approval of the minutes from August 23rd.
Move to approve.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you. Which brings us to our items for discussion. 3.1 is the proposed construction of a nature school yurt and restroom facility at Bookworm Gardens. If that team would come to the podium and make introductions and tell us a little about what you're proposing, that would be great. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Muller from Hogmuller Architects. Elizabeth, why don't you come on up?
Ooh, I'm Elizabeth Wieland. I'm Executive Director at Bookworm Gardens. Thanks for letting us present to you today.
And this is Aaron Yackel, also with Hogmuller Architects. And I guess I'm not sure how you guys like to proceed. We could do a little show and tell.
Show and tell sounds great. We've got
Okay.
the drawings you submitted that Steve can put up on the screen.
Okay.
But if there's stuff you'd like to point to on your end, I think that can get picked up on the cameras too.
Okay. Does anyone have a pointer? I'd love to be able to. No?
Yeah, I don't have anything. I can get it, Mike, while you're talking.
Okay. I guess what I'll start out with is the parcel is the only vacant piece on the Bookworm site at this time. And what we're looking to put on the parcel is a yurt nature school, which is the circular structure. And it's going to be located pretty close to the existing pedestrian bridge and right next to the ravine. And then downhill from that is the restroom facility structure. And the restroom facility actually has, I believe it's 3 family rooms, a mother's room, and a staff restroom, shower, combined with an adult changing area. So it's a lot of stuff packed into one small building. As far as, I guess, the logic with the placement, we want the yurt to be sited up higher so it has a little bit more visibility as people come around the corner. So it's more of a showpiece for Bookworm. Restrooms, we wanted a little bit more subdued off to the side. And connecting everything will be a series of pathways, garden areas, and outdoor. The outdoor area is actually going to be an outdoor exploratory learning area. Hang on one second. On the yurt, I wish I could point to this. There's like a small entry vestibule that's been added onto it, which is right there. And that's actually going to be connected via a series of steps and covered pergolas down to the restroom area. But we also do need to maintain an accessible route to the restrooms. And back to the site plan, Steve, that would be the way, basically the way kind of like down to your left, the long way around is what it would amount to.
Yes.
Last thing I didn't talk about is the drop-off component. There's like a little paved eyebrow that's off the street right now. And that's going to be the main entry gate. And the way that's going to work is people attending the Yurt Nature School will be dropped off at that area. And the drop-offs will be staggered, but they'll be scheduled, just so there's no traffic issues. And likewise, the returns.
So if I can just give a moment of background. So the Education Department currently has a completely full set of field trips. We are at capacity for a field trip program with a wait list every year. In our field trip program, we impact a wide group of learners from Sheboygan County and the surrounding 15 counties, but we only get them for a short amount of time. So you get this wide net, but this shallow introduction to the gardens. That program is not going away, but with the introduction of the nature school, we will be serving a different subset of the population in a more narrow way, a smaller number of learners, but having deep impact throughout the course of a traditional school year. Additionally, in 2019, Bookworm served 80,000 visitors in our 6-month open time frame. And one of the biggest complaints or challenges has always been that our restroom facilities are not sufficient for the number of visitors that we see. So the restroom facility serves the nature school, but also the general visitor in a way that will make the visitor experience at the gardens that much higher quality.
Anything that I didn't cover that we should add?
I don't think so. Pretty good.
We don't get many yurts, so this is a first for us.
It's pretty unique.
Yeah, it's been new to us as well, but we've learned a lot in the last several months.
Is the first question I had. I don't see any mechanicals. What are the systems? Where are they located? How is that integrated?
On the Yurt, the mechanicals are actually going to be there's going to be a crawl space underneath it. And then in the restroom building, I believe we're doing mechanicals in the storage room.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be in floor 8 in the yurt with the forced air for air conditioning in that crawl space also.
Okay.
The restrooms get exhausted and heat rooms. And then we're also looking at putting solar panels on that curved roof section.
Okay.
Over here.
Yep.
Great. Any other questions or comments from the board?
But it's kind of picking up the stone on some of the other structures that you see out there. But it's going to be a great addition to the.
And it's a Duralast roofing on the yurt, I think I read that.
It'll be the tan Duralast. Oh, sorry.
Could
It'll be the
get-
tan
Into the
Duralast.
mic, Steve.
Yeah, sorry. It'll be the tan Duralast roofing. That's, most of them actually use the Duralast, which are
Okay.
some family members here in Sheboygan here, so. So yeah, it actually comes down on the wall structure then too, so.
Yeah, I had wondered about
And
the
it gets
flashing
started.
condition there, but if that's Duralast, presumably that's fairly easy to integrate.
Oh yeah, and then it gets lapped and then lashed in and stuff like that, so
Okay.
it's kind of a cross material. If you've ever seen a yurt,
Mm-hmm.
you know how it's constructed, so. So it's pretty good, and then there'll be a dome on top of that and then we're gonna do some other little, like a nest inside of that, can be a little area that the younger kids can go up and, like a book reading nest. Kind of similar to what we kind of did with the Above and Beyond Children's Museum with the sky crawl and stuff like that, so.
It's a fun project.
It's exciting.
Oh, if Dave has a question?
Yeah, has this project gone through plan approval process?
I don't know if you guys have sent anything into the state yet. I don't know the answer. It hasn't gone to Plan Commission. I think they've been working with our building inspection
Yeah.
department a little bit, but maybe you could address plan
Right.
review as far as state.
Based, and for plan review, I assume you're talking about building plan examination,
Building plans and mechanical plans.
right? Based on the size of the structures, it's gonna be reviewed locally. So this is not gonna need to go to the state. And we have not submitted for that yet because we don't wanna prepare all the final engineering drawings until we know if everything goes well here.
So then, the Pat Irick, our building inspector, would be the one doing the review on that.
Right.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion of some sort.
I can attempt a motion.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we grant the project the ability to proceed pending plan approval.
So motion for approval as submitted pending plan approval. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? It is approved. Thank you very much. Good luck to you.
See you guys tomorrow.
We will be back.
Item 3.2 on the agenda is the proposed exterior remodel of the Sunnyside Daycare Building at 1921 North 8th. Steve, if you and your team can make introductions and tell us what's proposed there, thanks.
My name is Kelvin Dean, I'm with Grossman Construction. I'm the one that submitted the drawings and the information. So what she is looking to do is get rid of the old rainbow on the front of the former Noah's Ark pet store there. So what we're gonna do is get rid of that, pull that off entirely, and then across the face of the building, we're gonna put a stacked stone. I've been trying for weeks to get a physical sample of the stone. The one that she has chosen is the one that's second from the bottom. It's the Rocky Mountain Ledge Stone, the Glenwood Springs. I did submit a brief narrative, and it's got a little bit larger view of that product. Yeah, there it is. Thank you, Steve. So she wants to, like I said, get rid of what's on the front now, the rainbow, and then we would take the stacked stone and we would follow the existing contour. The other thing we would do is remove part of that upper pier above the roof line. That's where the sign used to be, so we're gonna bring that down so that it matches the height of the parapet on the south side of the building, adjacent to Habitat for Humanity, and we would be taking the existing logo off, putting it on the front, and then in that same general area below where the signage would go, we're gonna put a planting area. I submitted that to Janet Delman, and she did approve that. And then the other thing that she would like to do for a couple of reasons is she wants to put a film on the glass on that west face there. One for solar heat gain, and two for a little bit more privacy inside the facility. So the door would not have it, but the other panes of glass there, those 10 panes of glass would all have the privacy film on them.
So the windows will be blacked out? Is that what?
Yeah, it won't be completely blacked
Yeah.
out, but it's gonna, again,
But a
it's to
heavy-
help reduce the heat gain in there.
And how do you end the stone? It looks like it's just going on the west wall.
Yes, it will terminate, and there are corner pieces that we'll put on at the corner.
So what is that? Like,
It's the same stone. It's
so
the
it'll
same
return the
stacked stone.
corner a little bit?
We can either
not?
do that, or I was actually thinking about that we would end it right at the corner. The corner pieces, I'm thinking more where that pier sticks out in front of the building, that we would be wrapping those corners with the corner pieces. And at that, let's see, the northwest corner there, I was thinking that we would just terminate it right at the corner. Because if you go down the north face of the building, that is in good shape. That's an area where she has painted it in the past, and the paint does seem to be holding real well. It's just this west face that is pretty unsightly at this time.
Yes, I have some concerns with the stone just being applied over the entire facade.
Okay?
It doesn't feel very architectural. It's just a new finish on there. The corner condition's one that we always have issues with the material just stopping and being exposed so that you can see that it's just a thin application. If we were to approve this, I would much rather see it wrap for a fairly significant distance, couple of feet or so, along that, is that the north side?
Or, yeah.
What are you thinking, 4 feet back or what?
I don't know that 4 feet would be necessary, but something that gives a suggestion that there's more depth to it than just a
Okay,
little wafer.
so maybe if we
of
go
stone.
2 feet back down
Yeah.
the north wall, okay?
But then the treatment at the various reveals on the existing building, how does that translate once you apply stone to that?
Right now, those are at a 45-degree angle roughly. So we would actually take and cut the stone to fit that same contour. She does like the profile on the building there, and she would like to keep that, so we would be cutting the stone to follow that same contour, so that it's got some depth to it rather than just all one flush face.
Yes, my reservation with that is that those reveals don't make a lot of sense with stone. They wouldn't traditionally, or you wouldn't expect stone to be detailed with that sort of reveal system. It just seems like a not ideal fit to the facade of the building. What about the parapet at the south end? What's the condition for the stone there?
The parapet on the south face, we wouldn't be doing anything with that.
Because that has a small piece on the main facade that runs up full height. So are you stopping it there, the flashing?
We would do the face of it, the west face of it, so that it is continuous there, but we weren't planning on running anything down beyond that.
Okay. Again, just having a little sliver of stone sticking up there seems odd.
So
and just
return that a
another-
little bit as well.
Not a material that seems to lend itself well to this building form. So I just have some concerns that it's maybe not a good combination of existing form with this new finish. Yeah, thoughts from other board members? I'm just one thought.
Well, like you said before, I agree. I always don't like to see the thin stone just end, I don't know if that's just an architect thing, but
That is what we're here for.
it tells you it's not real stone, it's cultured stone, and a lot of those cultured stones do offer a corner, I think, that,
Yeah, well, I think we've agreed that we can return that 2 feet.
right. So I'm just
Would you
commenting
be
that
better
I
off
agree.
if where it projects out, if we did cornerstones that are sharp 90-degree, rather than follow that contour of what's there? Would that be more acceptable?
I'm sorry, can you explain that again?
Where we've got the difference in the profile on the face, rather than following the 45-degree angle, would it be better if we did corners there so that we had a sharp 90-degree angle? rather than the 45-degree angle?
Yes, maybe if you can explain those contours a little better to me. It appears that there are panels that project out from the main face that are beveled at a 45-degree where they come out
Yes.
from that face.
Yes.
So that's just a strange stone detail to be projecting out like that for panels within a field of a wall. You know, a recess might make more sense, but a projection is, you know, it's what's supporting it, stone, there's some implied visual weight to it.
And that was one of the reasons that we were looking at this product, is because it's not adding additional weight, so we don't have to put a foundation system to support this, where we would be putting lath and a scratch coat on there, and then this would be applied, and it's all just a stacked stone. There's
Yeah,
no
the
mortar joints on
structural
this.
capacity isn't my concern. It's just that visual weight of the material and things like that are start to suggest that it's a fake material. It's not doing what it's visually saying it's doing. That just sets up a contrast that architecturally I have a hard time with.
What she was trying to do is find something that would blend somewhat with the brick on the Habitat building without going to a brick.
Other thoughts? Dick, any comments from you?
I usually have a comment. I think the removal of the rainbow arch is a good idea. And I think the city of Sheboygan will be grateful for that. I don't have a problem with this kind of brick stone veneer, but I do have a problem with how you're handling it. And I think some of the details need to be worked out more clearly so that we can understand how things are fitting together.
Okay.
I think that's well put. Thanks, Dick. Dave, any thoughts or comments from your end?
I would defer to the experts that are the architects. I'm a mechanical guy.
Anything else, Bob?
So, I see just a little bit of the brick. It's like a brown, tan to brown blend on the building next door. So this stone is pulling out colors from that brick, you think?
It's what we could find
Yeah.
that was close, yes. Without going to a full-on brick. And if you try and match, you know what happens. It looks worse than if you try and go with something that's got at least a little bit of a contrast.
What type of schedule are you on? How quickly are you looking to start?
Well, we'd like to get this started as soon as possible to avoid as much winter conditions as we can here. So I guess what I will do is I will work on figuring out some details here that I can get back to the board.
If it's possible to do some detailing and come back to us to explain better how those materials are intended to work, and some indication of what they'd look like, that would be great.
Okay?
Is that something that we could do just paperwork-wise, that if we sent you something back that you could forward, Steve could forward it out to the committee and get versus waiting the time period?
There seem like a lot of detailing questions to me that I don't know if the entire board would want to weigh in on those, or if they're comfortable that with some detailing resolution, this is the right material and we can give an approval as long as it's detailed out right. And there's always the option that if Steve isn't satisfied, he could kick it back to the board. But in terms of how to do that and best accommodate your schedule and make the best use of everyone's time, I think we have some flexibility. Thoughts on being able to bring it back at a staff level for at least the first round of review?
Is there a way we could authorize proceeding with the demolition and get drawings submitted in the meantime?
Would that help with scheduling?
It certainly would. Like I said, I've been trying to get a sample of the material for a number of weeks now, and they just keep telling me that it's on its way.
Uh-huh.
We had looked at EFS too last year when I looked at it, and it wasn't right with that, and it's just the stone, but I see your detail. We can wrap it around the corner. We're just trying to get rid of the rainbow, which I think is
That's
just,
the biggest thing.
everybody sees that and can't see how the other, and with the block, it's set that there, I think it's an 8-inch block and a 10-inch block, and
Okay,
so I can't demolish that.
sure.
So I need to have to fur it out to make it solid or bump it out with something in order to do a reveal or something like that, but
Yeah.
I'll work with Kelly on this. And
Steve?
Hey Kelly, I think when we had talked earlier in the year, like you had mentioned, Steve, there might have been some look at EFS. Any reason for the switch? Was it just?
I presented it to the owner.
Yeah.
And she asked for a couple of examples around town. I gave her some examples.
Yeah.
And she does not care for that at all.
Gotcha.
I think because what we're gonna do is we're gonna go with a 4-inch or a 4-foot high that would be stucco and then EFS above that, just because, as we all know, EFS isn't the most durable product. And I think even though the kids won't be in these areas, I think she was a little bit concerned about the texture of that. And
Sounds good.
we did give her a number of different options for the texture, and I think she was just kind of put off by that, thinking that, maybe if the kids are by that, it's a pretty rough texture. Not to say that this is much better, but she didn't care for the look of the EFS.
But the planter area, we're removing part of that sidewalk that goes back to the wall. So there'll be a green space there, that's why you see the reveal with the store next door. It used to be the old Evans store. That was out to the property line. This is set back, so.
And then what was going on? Are you guys painting the north wall, or is that gonna be the same?
That's gonna remain what it is. I've
Okay.
looked at that a number of times, and the paint on there is holding real
Okay.
well. As we all know, that west face is the one that's the worst.
Yeah.
Especially the rainbow itself, getting rid of that's gonna make a big difference. And what we would do on the west face too is we would go ahead and pressure wash that to make sure that any loose scale, any dirt is taken off there.
Okay.
Before we would start putting the new product on.
So I think from where I'm sitting, the demolition and the removing the rainbow, taking down some of that pier, and those are all, I have no issue with those. It's really a question of what the new cladding material is and how that would get detailed, whether stone is still the best material or if there's some other option. So if we wanted to approve the moving forward with the project in general, but to come back to us with additional detailing on the treatment of whatever the new cladding will be,
Okay.
that would be great. And would we need a motion, an approval for that piece of approval?
I think it makes sense
Okay.
to make a motion to allow them to move forward and resubmit.
So moved.
Well played, Dick. So is everyone clear on that motion? That we're giving approval to proceed with the demolition and the basic configuration of the project, but they'll be coming back with additional cladding material and detailing information at an upcoming meeting. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Dave seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you,
Motion's
gentlemen.
approved.
Appreciate
Thank you very much. Good luck to you. And our next meeting, October 11th.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a meeting.
Super. So hopefully everyone can get that on their calendars. And any other discussion items from the board? Hearing none, do we have a motion to adjourn? So moved. And a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, sounds like we're adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Dave.
you.
Thanks. Welcome.